I'm going to show you this really simple makeup today. I'm just popping out for the day and I thought I'd try some newer launches as well. I've used the Rare Beauty contour drops, which are lovely. I've also gone for a slightly deeper lip than I would usually use. It's one of the Haus Labs lippies, and I thought I'd show you with a brush how you can soften the edge if you're not used to wearing deeper colours to make them feel a bit more wearable. So I hope you enjoy. Everyone had the same idea to get groomed this morning. Got Ginge here giving himself a little bath. And I've already put my skincare on because I'm using at the moment, I'm going out today and it's freezing. I'm using the La Roche-Posay night cream, which is so lovely for twice a day. It's a really silky cream that again I will come on to. I'm going to make you a separate video on all the rosé stuff that I took on holiday that's particularly good for the cold weather. And I've got my La Roche-Posay Anthelios SPF on, that's SPF 50. So I put those on a little while ago and now I'm going to get straight into my makeup. I'm starting with my original CC cream in the shade Fairlight, and today actually while I was away, where's my brush now? In my little pouch that I showed you yesterday. While I was away, I got quite a lot of new makeup launches through. So I'm really excited to kind of work my way through and have a little play with some of the newer launches. And one of them is the Rare Beauty Contour Cream. So we'll have a little play with that today and see what it's like. And you know, I think with contour and bronze and things like that, something I'd be really keen to point out, I love Rare Beauty, by the way. I think if you're going to go for complexion things like blush, bronze, highlight, anything like that, they do those things really well. But you don't necessarily need all of those steps. And one of the things I want to do in these longer chatty videos is just kind of show you some newness and explain who might and might not need something. Years ago when we were on QVC with It Cosmetics, one of the things they always used to encourage us to do, which I thought was such a great tip, is when you're showing something, explain who it's not for as well as who it is for, because that helps to avoid someone taking something home that isn't right for them. And at the end of the day, there are so many products out there at this point in time. Not everything is going to be right for you. You might not want everything, you might not need everything. So I would always say, if you're watching a video of mine, just take it as a bit of inspiration or a bit of something mindless to watch if you've had a bit of a day. I never want you to feel like I'm actively saying you really desperately need all of these things. None of us desperately need anything, but sometimes it's just quite nice to watch someone get a bit put together, isn't it? And I always enjoy, like, say for me being quite red today, just washing this brush, well, taking the excess off the brush with a tissue. Say for me being quite red today and how much I've been able to just gloss over that. I hope that I can give you a bit of reassurance that if you do wake up looking like, you know, something's broken out or something's not feeling quite great with your skin, there's always a solution if you want to cover it with makeup. It's so funny when you've been making videos for a while. I discuss this with friends of mine sometimes that make videos. Over the years, you'll get whatever you say, someone will have been upset by it, and you get so used to wanting to say you don't have to wear makeup, you this, you that. I'm really trying to stop doing that because I feel like, you know, my intentions are in a good place, and you could spend your whole life apologising for something that may or may not happen, or that you have or haven't said. So I hope you know I mean all of this in a nice place. I personally feel nicer when I've got a few pops of colour on and a bit of makeup on, and that's me. So moving swiftly on, I'm gonna start with the Mellow Liquid Contour from Rare Beauty, and I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty Bronzing Stick as well. And before I apply these, I thought I'd show them to you on the back of my hand to explain kind of the difference between the two. So this is the contour stick, this is Mellow, and it's quite glossy. So I might have to, see that's actually come up quite warm. Right, hear me out. I do have a theory on this that I'm hoping will come off quite well, but I think the way I've angled this in the light is maybe showing that up to be quite golden. When I did this on my hand earlier on, in advance of showing this to you, oh, there we go. I think if I tilt it down, you can see. What I was hoping to show you is that the contour drops are slightly cooler in tone. And honestly, sometimes it doesn't pick up on the light. On my hand, it is very clear. If you were to try it in real life, you'd see. This is more of a cool tone, and the bronzer is more of a warm tone. So you might be thinking, well, could I not just use, you know, the same thing for the two? And you wouldn't necessarily need both of them, definitely. But depending on the look you were hoping to go for, you might choose one over the other. So if I start with, well, I kind of want to show you the contour drops first. I'll do them on two different parts of my face. And please excuse me, I've got a cat hair or something that I think for both of our sanity, it's best I just get off before I go any further. How is it 5 minutes in and I've only put my CC cream on? Right, I'm going to start with the contour drops. You want to put these where you have a natural shadow, just to emphasize it. So I'm going to go for that kind of line. Now you can see from looking at me, I'm not the best candidate for contour products in general, because I've got quite a round face and I feel like a lot of it gets lost on me. But what I'm gonna do, I should have started from the bottom here and chiseled up, but we'll all trust the process. I'm gonna just trace this where I would have a natural hollow and kind of flick it up into my hair so that it disintegrates into nothing. You can actually see that forward arm, but in particular from the side, we've got a bit of a sculpt, and I'll do the same over here. To do this, by the way, I'm using a Trish McEvoy little triangular brush, and it's a really unusual shape. She has this in a smaller and a larger version. Really unusual shape and a really precise brush. And I've chosen this purposefully because you would want to use something quite small and chiseled for contour products, because we want this to mimic where there's a natural shadow, which isn't going to be a huge area on your face. Whereas your bronzer, for example, you might prefer to use a larger, fluffier brush, because your bronzer's going to, if you've been out in the sun, it will sweep lots of different parts of your face. But if you ever watch, Trish does a lot of videos on Instagram. She has a really delicate touch, and she's really considered where she puts every single step of her routine. So it makes total sense that this would be a brush shape that is of interest to her, because she's very precise with where she puts things. Right, I'm so sorry, just give me 1 minute to get rid of this cat hair. I hope to God that's the end of it, but I still feel like it's coming for me. Okay, on another note, I'm going to use the Happy Soul bronzer stick. And here, I feel like you can really see, actually, now that that's on my face, how much warmer that is. And I'm going to use the Rare Beauty brush with this, which is a really lovely shape because it is slightly chiseled and angled, but also it's almost, why have I forgotten the name of this? It's almost stippling, which is where you have a denser selection of brushes kind of halfway down and some longer fibres at the top, which means that it really helps you to blend everything out. And you can see that even though I have, let's be honest, put way too much of this on, it will still blend it out for us. I'm going to really chisel that into my hairline to try and rectify whatever's gone on here. The cat hair's still coming for me. Do you know, sometimes I'm like midway through a video, this is one of those times, and I just think this is a disaster. Just call it a day, don't put it up, just film something else now that you've got your base on, and then weirdly, I'll put that one up and someone will quite enjoy it. So I'm going to go against all of my more sensible instincts and just carry on. But do you know what as well, a bit like I was saying at the beginning, now that I've demonstrated the two, by the way, I am just going to bronze a bit more of the front of my face. As I was saying at the beginning, sometimes you are having one of those days and you don't think your makeup's going to go on well, and you are looking at yourself thinking, what is going on? But look, it's all going to be fine. We'll work it out. It's not the end of the world, and it's only makeup. I'm not performing surgery, am I? I'll blend it out or I'll wipe it off. Everyone will be okay. There we go. Now, I don't have loads of time today actually, so I was thinking I might keep things relatively fresh, but I want to have a little play with some blusher. There's a few different blushes and I don't know where to go first. You know what I'm going to do? No, I'll save him for another day. I'm going to try today one of the Haus Labs blushes. I've got some Haus Labs things to try. I'm so excited. I'm going to Coachella this year. I'm going to see Gaga in the desert. I honestly cannot wait. So this is Glassy Rosette. One of the things I noticed about I've had a little play with them just on my hands, they're almost like a jelly consistency. I'm going to be really soft with this because I don't want to lift off the coverage I've just built. And I'm going to use Gaga's own Haus Labs brush. But this jelly consistency just gives a really fresh, juicy finish. And you look like you've just been out in the sun for the day. So I'm just going to gently, you know, I've been swiping that and I think maybe I should have pushed it in. But there we go. Nice little flush of colour. Let's try pressing on this side. See, I've retained a bit more of the pigment on this side by pressing. So when I've pressed this in, I'm going to go over to the other side and just add a little bit more. And you know what's lovely about a lot of the new blush formulations is, like, if you saw that in the pan, it might look like it was quite deep. But I think that in general, so many more brands are making an effort to make sure that they have a really adequate level of pigment in their blushes to suit all different complexions and show up on all different complexions. And so you are really in control of how full the cover is, and like if you're super fair like me, everything will still work for you. You just use a bit less, apply it in a different way. But it's really nice to know that if I had that in my makeup kit, for example, I could use that on lots of different friends of all different complexions and it would show up for them, in particular being that kind of jelly consistency rather than having like a creamier or a white pigment at the base. Okay, from here I'm also going to layer a bit of the Haus Labs highlighter. I'm actually going to just brush away. I wouldn't usually use a brush for a cream and then a powder, but I didn't use a lot of the contour product on that Trish brush. And I feel like this will be a beautiful brush to place a bit of highlighter on. This is one of those things that I'm looking in my hand mirror is really showing up in real life, but maybe not as prominent in this video. But when it catches the light, it has a lovely, oh, you can see there, really nice luminosity. And I just kind of take highlighter or blush or things just slightly up into the temples there, so that it, you know, blends out into the rest of the face and it's not just really in one place. I'm going to do the world's quickest eye, I feel like, and I really am going to be super quick because if I've been doing this for 14 minutes, that means I need to get a move on. I'm going to use this AYU eyeshadow palette. They're an Irish brand. I haven't used anything. I've had a play with things they've sent, but I don't think I've filmed with anything yet. But one of my favourite makeup artists, Freyja, I think her username on here is just Freyja MUA, but it's Freyja with a J, Freyja. She always spells it because she has like a code for Rosalique, and she loves Rosalique, and she'll always say, if you want to try Rosalique, it's my code, Freyja, Freyja. So that is etched in my head to tell you her name too. But basically Freyja loves AYU, I always used to see her using it, and then I realised they were Irish, so double the excitement for using. So I'm just using my Joy Adenuga smudger brush to press this pigment on my eyelids, and then I don't think I have a clean blending brush, so I'm going to take the excess of this on my tissue. I tell you what I'm going to do. Take the excess on my tissue, blend it out a little bit, because if I tried to blend that with as much shadow as was on that brush, there'd have been so much makeup on, it would have just gone everywhere. Whereas as you can see, the edge of that is kind of softening. I was going to put some light brown through the socket, and I don't know whether I will bother now, because that's kind of coming together quite nicely, isn't it? Let's just see how we go. I daren't look at the clock. He's fast asleep, which is a rarity. To be fair, he's been going berserk all morning, so I should think he's fast asleep. He's exhausted me as well as himself. That's one thing actually. I've just got back from being away. I really, really struggle being away from my cats whenever I go anywhere. And like my Instagram, all it shows me is ginger cats, or cats in general, but like especially little gingers like him. And I just get like bursting to come home and see him. Right, tiny bit of shadow under here. Ginger cat section of the video is complete, I promise. Just taking a little smush of that under there. Lovely. I'm not going to bother with any liner or anything today. I'm just going to go with a nice wash of loads of Superhero Mascara. This is from It Cosmetics. It's really, really volumizing. And it's a lovely one on its own, or just in general if you want to look and feel a bit more awake. I haven't curled my lashes today, but if I had curled them, you wouldn't believe, like, your lashes look enormous with this. I'll do it one day with curled lashes and show you. And I'm just kind of doing some big blinks on the brush so that I really coat them tip to top with mascara. I've got a little spill on that eye that will be much easier to flick away and clean once it's dry. So I'll deal with that in a little while. Or more realistically, I'll forget all about it and it'll be there all day. Lovely. And then I've got a bit of a deeper lip here that I'm wondering whether to try. And again, it is just makeup, so why not? Let me buff away some lip balm. Oh, hang on, let me put my big brows on. My big Morphe brows that I love. This is my Brow Tease in the shade Cold Brew tinted brow gel. It's a bit darker than the natural colour of my brows, and I love it because it gives this really big, hairy, fluffy look. I'm trying to talk really loud because I can hear my dad chatting away just outside the door. So I'm trying to keep you on me and drown him out, but I'm getting lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear him. Dad, whatever room you're in, like if you were 3 rooms away, you'd hear him like it was clear as anything. He's just naturally got a really loud voice. Okay, brows are on. I'm going to try maybe a deeper lip. Am I going to try a deeper lip? I always go for the same lip colour, don't I? Let's try, oh come on, let's try Le Monster Lip Crayon. This is from Haus Labs. and I'm gonna, yeah, soften that with the edge of my finger. Right, this is what we're starting with, but stay there. Okay, I'm now going to use a little Pixi E03 brush and soften all of this out. I actually love that now. I naturally have asymmetric lips. So if I look forward on, I feel like that looks great. But when I start talking, this side will look higher, but I don't care. I'm going for the forward on looking okay. And then I actually love when you have the lighter colour in the centre, so I'm just going to leave that as it is, but to make sure that that keeps showing up, I'm going to use some of this Nuxe Lip Plumping Serum. I've got to show you this in a second, but let me just put some of this on. You know how Roche have those phone cases and on the back you can clip your lip gloss? Nuxe have made a little floral one. Which I thought was lovely. You just clip that to the back of your phone. I can't show you because I'm filming on my phone, but very nice. Oh, and I'm gonna finish with the last dregs of my all-nighter setting spray. I am really into setting sprays now, and I just find that when I went away last week and I forgot to take my setting spray, I did notice that, say when you first got everything on and it feels quite full, the setting spray just helps to take the edge off it a bit and makes it feel like maybe you're an hour into wearing it and everything's softened down a bit. So I really do like that as a last step. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was useful. We got there in the end. It's probably the theme of this video. And I'll chat to you soon. Have a lovely day.